Hello?
Come in.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Jim, is
Jim
that you?
Singh with the Alpha Dawg, and this is the loop launch. Oh man, I've been getting calls all week about what is the loop launch. And the funny thing is, most of the loop launch inquiries have been from your competitors.
Yeah.
you have
That's good.
you
I
have
guess.
got the industry's attention. What is the loop launch? Okay, I've got the space crew here from Space Auto, Space Invaders. Starting with my good friend for years and years and years, Brian Barlow. Hello, Brian. Hello, Brian. Brian's having a technology freeze right now.
Typical.
Pay your electric bill, guy.
You're right.
yeah. Brian Barlow from Space.Auto. How you doing, big guy?
Good. And Jim, you don't have to say years and years and years. I mean, we've been friends for a while, but I mean, it makes me sound so old, you know?
Years and
Call
years.
it like you see it, you know?
Decades and decades and decades.
I've got underwear older than you, so don't worry about it.
That's a little too much information, Jim, but thank you for that.
Okay, I'm wearing it right now. Anyway. And the CEO, the big cheese, the head guy at Space Auto, Nick Askew. Hello, big guy.
Hey, what's going on? If I'm the big cheese, if I'm the one we're all looking up to, then it's probably an issue there. But I'm glad to be here.
Nick, the only reason we're looking up to you is because you're 6'5".
Yeah, and gentlemen like you have no choice, do they, Barlow?
Yeah, I don't have a choice.
Yeah. Until they hear the British accent, who do you play for?
You don't want to see me play sport, Jim.
You were the Chicago Bulls? Well, who? Okay. And one of the background geeks, a good friend of mine, Taylor Bartholomew. Hello, big guy.
Hey, how are you, Jim? Yeah, I don't mind being one of the background geeks. Suits me well.
Is that your W9 title?
Background geek, chief background geek officer.
Technical term.
Job title. Okay, Barlow, I want to ask you to explain it because you explained it to me. What is the loop launch?
The loop launch, we're super excited about it. So obviously Space Auto is a software and technology company, and Nick and Taylor and our team have spent almost 2 years and almost several $1 million in developing software that will
several $1 million developing software that is revolutionary, that's new, I've had numerous calls from auto industry competitors, and the one thing they ask me is, how do they control it from the cell phone? So don't answer that yet. Let's make them watch for a while.
Let's keep them guessing.
Yeah, no, and that's and it is. It's one of the greatest attributes to the loop system. But yeah, it's a multi-touch platform that really truly captures the customer from the point that they get to the keyboard to start the revolutionary process of trying to find the perfect car for them or their family member or their family. It follows them from that first key touch to keys in hand, and it just organizes and takes them through a system that makes it easy for the dealer, that makes it very customizable for the consumer, and is really going to revolutionize the way that dealers close and the way that customers search and are marketed to in regards to their car buying experience.
Fantastic. Nick, geek that up a little bit for me.
Yeah, so this is the thing that we've tried to, and why we've put so much money in. The thing is, we're self-funded as well. We have built products in-house, our own developers, our own revenue. So we're trying to create something to bridge the gap between the consumer and the dealer as well. So, how this differs and why it's so hard to put a label on this is, okay, end-to-end solution. That sounds a lot like digital retailing. But you and I know the adoption rate of digital retailing in its full form is lower than dealers would like, and dealers and customers still want some sort of control over the deal. So,
okay, customers want control over the deal. they really haven't adopted digital retail in the numbers that
No.
people were anticipating. You know, people were infatuated with Tesla. They thought Carvana was the new wave again, and it crashed hard. You know, so tell me about that.
Yeah, well, there's always going to be a trust issue in automotive, you know, especially when we're dealing with independents and used cars and other things like that. And it's, you know, the complaints about Carvana, it's the car didn't show up as expected. You know, let's not start mentioning the title issues, right? But at the end of the day, from a consumer standpoint, digital retailing is great until the point someone has a problem. Then a human has to take over, right? If I'm a straight running 800, I've got equity in my trade and I know exactly what I want. Cool, digital retailing is fine. But it's like, Jim, why do realtors still exist? Because buying a house is fucking hard.
Okay,
You know?
Jim Ziegler shows up in your showroom. My credit score is 832. I've got a paid off trade in. You look at if you looked into my bank account, there's 7 digits in there. I can buy a car.
Yeah, that, you know, you're a great candidate for digital.
I'm a digital retail guy, right?
Yeah. But you know what? The thing is like, that doesn't work for independents. That doesn't work for used car dealers. It doesn't work for every customer. So we're not saying that digital retailing is not the future. Yes, those options are fantastic, but there has to be flexibility in a system. There has to be a fully functional marketing website that's SEO rich and can be the mouth of the funnel. There has to be something transactional, and there has to be a way for dealers to be able to efficiently be able to communicate with them, even from a cell phone.
I've heard that cell phone several times, and your competitors are they're frothing at the mouth to find out just what that's all about. How many vendors are you going to replace with this application?
Well, that's a great question. And look, we're not out here trying to.
Yes, you are.
Let me finish my sentence because it's a little back. No, we're not out here trying to say that there aren't people out creating great products, but especially with the contraction that's happening, the simplification that's happening with dealership technology. You know, there's no I see, Jim, that there's plugins on dealership websites for everything from specials to trade appraisals to short form credit applicants and pre-approval soft pulls. There's no reason that all of those things shouldn't be just a core feature of a website. And there's no reason that those things shouldn't lead to the next possible part of the process. If I submit a trade appraisal, I don't need a thank you page and here's your value. I need to get to the next step in the transaction. So all of these front doors, these widgets, everything that belongs on a dealership website, that needs to be fully integrated into the CRM or digital retailing for us to be able to bridge that gap between marketing and sales. So if in short answer to your question, I think there's going to be a lot of vendors that will replace just by the nature of that. We want connectivity through those things. We don't want a Frankenstein website with a lot of plugins. That's not good for anybody.
There's a lot of obsolete applications in the car business that are putting Band-Aids on deficiencies.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. And that's, unfortunately, most of our competitors and people in the industry look at someone like me and go, haha, do you really, you know, we heard it the other day. I was sitting in a dealer meeting and they said, oh, you're building a CRM? He was like, do you know how big of a job that is? I'm like, yeah. Absolutely. And in order to do something revolutionary, you have to do a few things that are crazy. And that really means reinventing how a dealership website and CRM work together in unison.
To do business with Space Auto,
do
they have to buy all your services?
No, we understand.
Okay, that's a misconception. Okay, let's.
The answer is yes, they do. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to tell the audience in advance. Barlow, Brian Barlow, this guy,
Yeah,
he's certifiable. Okay,
Very much so.
yeah.
Okay, okay, Nick, continue.
No, it's just, you know, Jim, it's kind of like kind of like AirPods with an iPhone, right? Can they work with different devices? Yes. Do you get the most beautiful connectivity out of them if they're all together? Absolutely. So we understand that in automotive, people like different tools. If you are working with your own CRM and you've been spending 3 years getting your salespeople to adopt it, that's great. And we understand that we might have to integrate our website platform and widgets and customer portal directly to their CRM, or vice versa. There's no reason why we can't embed our portal and all of our trade forms and credit applications and everything directly onto a dealer.com website. If there's a compliance thing for co-op, absolutely. Doesn't mean that you can't have the rest of our products. And even though they're sold together, they are still modular to a point to where we can be flexible enough to help.
That was the question. Thank you. That was the big question. Do they have to buy the entire package? I mean, because you've got a lot of applications and space.auto, and by the way, not .com, not .net,
Nope.
.auto.
We're car guys through and through, Jim. What can we say? Even in URL.
And Jim, I want to make this point too. It's we're not chasing vendors. We're chasing efficiency and profitability. I think that's the key message here is there are some vendors out there that do some really, really good things, but what Nick and Taylor and our crew have done is they've spent a lot of time and energy and code in manufacturing a system that allows the dealers to be organized, effective, efficient, and converting. That's the key thing is no one's developed a system that can convert the deal, that can capture the person that's looking for the car from the keyboard, take them to a behavioral functioning website, take them to a portal of information, organize that information through a CRM, and hand them the keys in one complete platform. That's what this is. It's efficiency, it's effectiveness, it's profitability. That's what we're after. We're not after vendors. We're after this.
Nick told me something earlier that just lit me up that I wasn't aware of before the broadcast. You guys are designing a lot of programs for independent dealers.
Yep.
Nobody's doing that.
No, look, they've been undisturbed, and I know that everybody wants to go and close, BMW or Stellantis or someone like that and get a big chunk of dealerships, get that partnership agreement and license, and be on their preferred partner status. But there's a lot of great car dealers in the United States that are either independent, buy here, pay here's, groups, and they're telling their own brand story. And that's who we're also here to help as well.
Fantastic. I saw a commercial on TV this week that you might be interested in. Why should you believe us? Because I'm a British actor.
That's one Nick a lot of deals.
Taylor, what's your role with Space Auto?
So I'm the chief product officer here. My main focus is making sure that our products are providing the most value to our customers. One thing that I was thinking about as you guys were kind of talking about what we do and why we do it, is this quote. There's two industries that use the term users, and it's technology and drugs. And I think, 10 years ago, that was all the rage to think about building products in a way that's like, how do we maximize revenue? How do we create these traps, these manipulations so that we can really just pull people in? And what that's created is a bunch of technology, not just in automotive, but all over the place that has these, what we call dark patterns in them. And what's happened over time is people, the consumer, have gotten really sensitive to these dark patterns. They've gotten really sensitive to these things. And this includes car dealers using their tools, not just customers using a website platform. They've gotten really sensitive to these dark patterns and these gray patterns. And they've started to resist them, and they started to reject them. And oops, Siri popped up. Bye, Siri. They've started to reject them. And as a result, these solutions that were working 10 years ago have stopped working. And these big technology companies have built their entire foundation on these methodologies, right? And what we have is the freedom right now as a small startup going into this growth stage is saying, let's just meet the customer where they're at now. The people want to be served. They want the highest value. They don't want to be tricked. They don't want to be manipulated. They just want it to work like magic. And so what, Nick and Barlow and I have really been thinking about is how do we make Loop feel like magic for the customer? Because that's what's gonna help us grow as a company, and it's gonna help move the ball forward on the automotive tech industry. And so, there's a long-winded answer, but my role here is helping bring clarity to what is that customer journey, the dealer journey, the customer buying the car journey, and how do we build this like beautiful, elegant, streamlined bridge between those two parties and make it as easy and simple as possible for
the buzzword in the industry today is frictionless.
Frictionless. I try to avoid buzzwords, Jim.
That's the new buzzword. We're going to create a frictionless product.
Yeah.
Taylor, hey Taylor, real quick, why Jim's saying that? What are your top 3 things that you love most about Loop? I mean, you developed the darn thing. I mean, what are the top 3 things that tickle your fancy?
Yeah, I think, and there are really 3 problems that we're solving really well. And I'm going to kind of go off the cuff here because I hadn't really articulated this before. But one of the most important things that we're doing is there's a fluidity of customer data. Like Barlow said in the beginning, from the keys on your keyboard all the way to turning the keys in the ignition, the customer profile that's built right at the beginning, what ad they clicked on, what vehicle, what lead form they hit, it's all compiled and organized really neatly and presented to the dealer so that they can just watch this customer go. So that's feature number 1, is really just our centralized database, which sounds really technical, but it's just shared data between apps. The second thing is...
Now, wait a second. Shared data between apps.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about any of the competitors.
Yeah.
Cox. Anyway.
Jim, I heard that.
Anyway, we got a big conglomerate that has a lot of different vendors under one umbrella, and these vendors under one umbrella don't communicate with each other.
Right.
So you're saying that the applications actually communicate with each other.
Right, and they're designed to, and I like to think of them as I mean, Barlow said it's a system. It's a system of applications. They can be used modularly, independent with other things, and they're designed to do that. But when they're working in concert together, there's a magic there that you can't really create with solutions from a dozen other vendors, and that's really the magic that we're wanting to create for our customers. Yes, technically there's different applications going on, and like really no one cares what's going on under the hood. What matters is that the customer is going onto your website, and your website is connected to the ability to directly interface with the CRM, do trade applications, do credit applications, do offers, set up appointments, all of the stuff that you need to do to work a deal. It's all completely integrated with your website. So there's no sending an ADF, which is just basically an email to your CRM that has a bunch of weird data points on it, and it gets all filtered down. And Jim, I think I used this analogy last time, but it's like you've got these big spigots of data flowing through these big pipes, and then they get down to this little tiny reducer, and then they just get totally destroyed and not usable for the customers there. So
yeah, and the dealer ends up getting a lead, right?
Right.
And I think that's the big thing here is you're talking about integration. Is Cox? Go ahead, I said it. If their methodology is to go buy up all these different companies and then develop integrations with each other to their own separate databases, like that's a strategy. But it's all for us. It's just all arms of the same animal. It's all in a centralized location. So there is no integrations. We're compiling customer data, whether that's marketing data, website analytics, transactional data, deal data, everything lives under the same customer profile, which is why we've had to start from the very beginning here.
Well, Barlow, tell me about Loop Launch.
Well, Jim, I was gonna ask you. I mean, you've been in the auto industry for decades and decades and decades, right?
Oh, for decades and decades and decades. Yes. Horace Greeley said, "Go west, young man," and I was selling wagons.
Right. So could you imagine in 2000? Let's just say the year 2000. Let's just say the year 2010. Can you imagine? What would you have done, or how would you have been able to guide and consult your dealers, your people that pay you every single month for your expertise, if there was a system and a platform that allowed this type of efficiency and this type of communication and this type of organization? What would it have done to the auto industry, and what can it do now to the auto industry? Because listen, there's just nothing like this. There are systems, there are applications, there are CRMs. They're very good CRMs.
Well, you know, Brian, there's one problem. There's one huge problem, and that problem is believability, because everybody's saying what you're saying. Does that make sense?
It is, and I don't know that I buy into that.
They've got to see a demo.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I want to show them the demo. But before we do that, you have to understand the cost comparison in regards to what dealers are currently spending right now for, plugins, for website hostings, for SEO, for their current CRMs. I mean, there's for a medium-sized dealership, there's anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 that's unaccounted for, even before placement of marketing, that you're having to spend as a dealer every single month. But what if this 7 to 15, and that's for a middle-sized dealership?
Oh no! Up. Come on now.
Well, we're trying to be modest, not oversell, Jim. Not oversell.
Hey, dealers, you can buy Space Auto services for your kids' lunch money.
Well, maybe not that. If you go to a private school, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, so this system can replace. We can absolutely save you money on expenses, but more importantly, we can make you more effective on organic traffic, on paid traffic, on conversion, but most importantly, on sales.
When we spoke to some of your clients a while back, the thing that I heard from your clients is basically affordability, accountability, reporting, where your money went, what it produced. Does that make sense?
It does, but it's also more than that. It's culture changing. It's a system and a platform that allows the inside of the dealership, the management system, to the communication of the salespeople, and vice versa. It allows that culture to change. I mean, how many times do you see a salesman go on a piece of paper, and they make fun of me because I do have a pad and a piece of paper all the time. But you go to the piece of paper and like, well, okay, so what do you want your payment to be, and what color did you like? You wanted leather and a sunroof. Okay, let me go back to my manager and let me show him this. I mean, how 1990s is that? So there's one portal of information that takes all that customer's information, puts it into the CRM. Now everyone's working off the CRM platform and communication. We can do a deal on that.
Well, so Barlow, most dealers, and excuse me, I know you're watching, but most dealers are computer illiterate.
Well, I think that was a statement you could say constantly, probably 5 to 10 years ago. I just don't think that's the case
anymore. I still think we're talking about the dealer principal, the head decision maker. Now, there are people in the chain of command that have the expertise, but now the dealer, the simplicity of accessing the information.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah, who wants to jump in?
Yeah. So when I first started working on this project with Nick, we went and toured a bunch of dealerships, talked to GMs, talked to people on the floor, talked to all of them. And when it comes to a CRM, which our stuff is really a CRM plus so much more, but one of the biggest things is the data is not useful because people weren't interacting with the CRM in the way that they should. The floor salespeople didn't get how to use the application, so they just didn't. And the data got skewed.
They didn't use the CRM.
Yeah, it's
never heard that before, right?
And it's like every single dealership said garbage in, garbage out. Sorry, Barlow, what were you gonna say?
No, I was going to agree. I mean, you could say that people it was too difficult to input into the system. Like there was no training. So So I think what you're getting ready to say is it's a lot more simplistic through the system, which is probably why more people would use it.
Years ago,
Yeah, and it's not less sophisticated. It doesn't do less. It's just designed in such a way that you don't really need training. You just pick it up and it is intuitive. It mirrors
Yes.
the process that you're experiencing on the sales floor when you're talking to a human being. There's just this little magic app that that's just basically following you through the process, and it's just ready to take down information and help you and give you information on your inventory. You know, when I went to go buy my last car, I went to actually I won't say, but I went to a dealership and there was a new sales person there. He'd been working there a month, and he had a packet of paper with all of their inventory on it, and it was blowing in the wind, and he was trying to tell me about the cars that we were looking at. And you know what we can do, what we can offer you is as part of just that little slice of the process is now you just pull up on your app. We've got scanning technology that you can use your camera and scan the VIN number on any inventory on your lot, and it'll pull up all the vehicle information, full Chrome data, everything you would need to know to tell that customer what's valuable, right? So that's just one slice of the process. We want to be there the entire way in that same
and the
sort of
VIN number,
magical
tell
way.
the salesperson with a cell phone everything about that vehicle.
Yep, exactly. And you don't even have to type it in. You just go boop, and it just looks up the vehicle for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know, you
Okay.
say people are,
We might have to add that sound into the app now.
I think we just did.
Yeah, now, see, I get what you're saying. Just over 10 years ago, I was hired by one of the largest import dealers in the world. Now, we're talking about Barrington, Illinois, 500 units a month, almost every Highline franchise there is. And when I went in there, I'm thinking these guys are doing $4,500 a car. They're processing. They're 500 units a month, and they're selling all these Highline nameplates. How am I going to improve them? And the one thing I did that improved them is first of all, we standardized their processes, but second of all, we went to the CRM and we said, who's using the CRM, who's not using the CRM?
Mhm.
And we looked at what was not being used in the CRM. Well, first of all, that's old Joe. Old Joe can't use the CRM. Well, old Joe can't work here anymore. Okay, that was the first change we made. But the second change was, what processes in the CRM is nobody using? And we programmed all of those things out of the CRM. We called in the CRM company and we programmed out every process they weren't using, where it got down to the bare bones of what we actually use. So what we're talking about with Space Auto, pick on up on that, Taylor.
Yeah. So when I went and talked to these dealers, I went and talked to the internet sales managers. They opened up their CRM, and I was like, "Show me what you actually use in here." And I every single one of them said, "Yeah, I don't use like 90% of this." And I would just ask, like,
It
why?
was designed by geeks for the pleasure of geeks. It has nothing to do with
It's
what
designed
really
by
works on
geeks who say yes to dealers who ask for things that they don't necessarily need.
No,
You know,
Yep.
and over time, that just turns into this giant. We keep using Frankenstein, but that's really what automotive tech is, and what we're answering. We are not Frankenstein. We're not Frankenstein's monster, I should say. And the CRMs are guilty of that as well. There's 1,000 things in there that you can do, and guess what? That's great that you can pull all those weird reports and those things that you might pull once your entire career. But what you've done is all of that cognitive load, all that noise you've added to the CRM is alienating all of your floor people. They're not using your CRM. And guess what? That report that you asked for, doesn't matter because the data sucks, So what we want to do is create a noiseless environment that's just, it's clarity.
If they click on it, they needed it. So Nick, who's doing the demos here?
I'll do it today.
You'll
got
do the demos. I mean, so
Yeah,
in other words,
I've got everything pulled up so I can do a little bit, and we're just going to show a little bit of what this encompasses. If any dealer wants to do a fully fledged demo, just please let me know. You can email me, call that number, and ask to speak to sales. You're a new dealer. We'll give you the whole thing. But I just want to show you what this kind of encompasses and what people get out of it. You know, and just to answer your question about you know, are dealers computer illiterate? You know, I think some people for sure are, but you know what? Everybody has an iPhone. What does Apple do? They create beautiful experiences that are intuitive, that people have no choice but to understand. If you can use an iPhone to call Jim Ziegler, you can use Space to handle a customer deal. And I think that's where we become different, is that you start looking at some of the legacy CRM applications. They're not built by product people. When we look at application and design, everything's intentional. Everything is designed to not be a chore, to be a natural, valuable part of the process. And we just remove the noise. So,
and Nick, while you're doing that, the most marketable asset to this, Jim, Nick, Taylor, you guys get ready for this. The most marketable thing.
Do we need an announcement or something?
Yes. Just give me a second. You can loop while you poop. Okay?
Oh, God.
Yep. There you go. That's why I get paid the big bucks. You will see that on billboards in New York Times Square. You can loop while you poop. Thank you, Nick.
A ridiculous amount of, I mean, he jokes, but a ridiculous amount of time gets spent in the bathroom with people's phones. Like there is data that says people use their phone while they're in the bathroom, and it's irrefutable. So,
okay,
thank you, Taylor, for that.
People use their phone whether this was a piece of data you really needed to absorb. I hope everybody wrote that down or put it in your iPad.
While you poop. Loop while you poop.
Loop while you poop. Okay, so why are we calling it the loop? Where did that designation?
Well, Jim, hold on. I think Nick's getting ready to give us the demo. Nick, are you ready to give us the demo?
I'm ready for it.
I think I interrupted Nick and we got off the demo because I was promoting loop while
because you had to make a poop joke.
Yeah, thanks, Taylor. So anyway, Nick, show us the demo.
Little third grade pee-pee humor here, you know, just
yeah.
Nick, tell me about the demo.
Yeah, I'm ready to share a little screen, and I'll showcase this while I speak. If you can see this, Jim.
Okay, you ready to share a screen? I just gave you the ability to share. Hang on. Okay, hang on. See, I see you've asked me to do something. I'm technologically.
Jim, I believe in you in this moment of despair.
Jim, you believe in me?
Yes, I think, you know, speaking of being able to manage and handle a computer, I have all the faith that you'll be able to do this.
Well, yeah, well, you know, like I say, you know, what the heck, we'll figure this out. Really
streaming tech is surprisingly complicated.
It is, you know, and I'm looking right. I see you sprung this on me. And I didn't know in advance I would have learned how to do this, you know. So
you know what? Taylor can sing a song a cappella just as time goes by while you're looking.
Yeah, I was looking at Taylor's Facebook page the other day. Taylor, what a knockout your wife is! I'm going to tell you right now.
She'll love you that.
His sister.
Yeah. Don't ever let that woman get her vision corrected.
You know, when we first met, I was wearing a very cool leather jacket, and I think that fooled her. She thought I was like a bad boy, but she found out I was just a huge geek.
She probably thought you made a little money.
At the time, that was not the case.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, hang on a second. Guys, I don't know how to allow him. I can share my screen, but I don't know how to basically allow Nick to share his screen.
Nick, can you send Jim the link, and then maybe we can guide him through that?
I just requested that.
You did what?
I just send you again.
Okay, what is that?
Wait. Look at that.
Oh, look at this.
Boop. Boop. All right. You guys hear me okay?
Okay, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Nick, you
Perfect.
sound fabulous.
So I'm just going to show a little bit of a demo site here. And again, this is not a full demo, but a few features shoved into a 5-minute window so I can showcase a couple of things.
Your volume's a little low, Nick.
You hear that better?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Get my audio right. How's that?
No, you're good. You're much better now.
Okay, perfect. So, I'm going to turn my volume down for some reason. As long as it's coming through on your guys' side, then. So, what we do here, this is just a website landing page. Websites look anything like a brand new BMW and website that's co-op compliant. This is just a page. As far as we're concerned, because big driver, we're going to spend as much in great content that's SEO rich, that drives traffic organically. We're also going to run a series of paid. We have the ability great Google AdWords, dynamic ads on over Google, those new Google, everything that would be dynamically to the vehicles and also website. We're not just sales.
Hey Jim, can we cut the
fixed
audio on Nick and let Taylor take over this?
All of our websites.
I can shut Nick up.
Yeah, let's.
Hey,
let
Nick.
Taylor.
Something's going on with your
I
microphone.
just shut
man.
Nick up.
Okay.
I just shut Nick down. Taylor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can run the demo. A little bit surprised, but let me just get this going. Screen share, screen one. All right.
Taylor, if you talk,
it looks like I'm already sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So as Nick was saying, sorry about the technical difficulty. This is a demo site. This is something similar to what your website platform could and should look like. And Nick, again, feel free to jump in and stop me. I'll just kind of go through some of these features as I can here. But what we found while we were watching customers interact with dealership sites is really something quite obvious, is that people just want to search your inventory. So the thing that we tried to make gorgeous and beautiful and delightful to use is your search experience. One thing is just having a big search bar at the top is a massive improvement to your conversion rate. Just giving people the ability to quickly do the thing that they need to do, right? So I can search here, see what we got here. Jeep. Go a little slow because I'm screen sharing here. Awesome. So yeah, it takes you straight to this wonderful SRP. Here, there's a ton of really easy, intuitive filters that the customer can use, right? We've all used great, experiences like Carvana and Vroom. We all know what's in here, but that same beautiful experience can be available to you. You don't have to settle for a lesser experience just because, you're even an independent dealership. You can have an equal experience, right? But the fun doesn't stop there, right? The customer might want to know more information about the vehicle. So what we're doing is we're tracing out a path, a funnel for these customers. that takes them where they want to go. So let's say customer's not convinced. I want to learn about this Nissan Pathfinder. We're creating VDPs that are informative and simple to understand and create urgency even within the sale.
And fast, Taylor. Don't forget fast. These pages load so fast.
Yeah, they're not loading fast right now, which is annoying me, but I'm pretty sure it's because I'm screen sharing. I'm actually positive it is, but these pages are extremely fast in real life. So we try to keep things simple. We don't, like we were talking about noise earlier. Well, the same principles apply to your customers. They don't need a ton of ads on this page. They don't want to see ads. As a matter of fact, they've been trained to tune out advertisements. And it cashes a check with the customers when you overstimulate them. So what we've done is created a beautiful, simple VDP that, yes, you can customize. You can add things to, like, specials, and all sorts of customizations, of course. But at its core, it's a simple, easy to use funnel for the customer. So what happens now?
And Taylor, I think Nick's audio is good. Nick,
okay, great.
You want to pick up back on that?
Yeah. I don't know what the deal was there, but I switched
better
my
now.
microphone.
Oh, you sound great, and you're totally bailing me out. I appreciate that.
Okay, perfect. All right, here we go. No, and that Taylor's super right as well. I mean, it's a experienced customers come to be able to intuitively navigate. Outside of just the VDP and SRP, they can intuitively navigate everything from our actual finance application, which gives real-time trade values. That replaces your trade tool. Your finance application, that replaces your short-term, quick 5-liner pre-approval. The customer portal can replace your digital retailing. The appointment setting form can actually create appointments in the CRM, not just send you an ADF lead. So everything is designed here to not just be, and like Barlow said, the quick loading of this. By the time you even clicked on this is instant feedback from not just images, not just for search filtering, but images as well. We can prompt users to favorite vehicles or get started, go through the actual process. We create them a profile. They get brought directly into our customer portal where we can see our favorites, interact, add our trade-in appraisals. See our customers, our sales associates' name. That's the thing about digital retailing. If you link this directly to the CRM, and I know I belong to this salesperson, interacting with the human being as well as the deal itself becomes extremely important. So not only are we telling the dealership brand story and creating a great place to be able to send traffic, we're now compiling all this data. You damn straight, your trade appraisal now goes to fill your trade appraisal in your digital desking in the CRM, and then ultimately goes to your DMS of choice as well. Same with the finance application. You bet if you're submitting this application, it goes into your CRM, and it also goes into Dealer Track or Route 1 or whatever you're using for your financial institution as well. We should never, ever have to input information more than once. And that's the beauty of a centralized platform here.
Minimal data entry, correct, Nick? Minimal data entry.
Absolutely. If a customer submits a trade appraisal, you're also going to find that in your actual deal here in the CRM as well. This is just a little sneaky preview. I'm not going to do a full demo here, but if I place that trade-in appraisal, it's not just a lead form. It will actually populate my lead here. And there's no reason that we should have to do any extra work to be able to accomplish that. And there's no reason that we shouldn't be able to see all of the pages viewed, the search was done by that customer, their vehicles in real time that they are actually interested in. We capture that customer the very first moment that they come onto the website, even if they don't submit a lead. And we tie that information back together so we can understand exactly what their entire journey has been, what vehicles they've interacted with, and all of their activity on the website. We have centralized communication systems for call, text, email, everything. there should be one timeline of communication so you can understand the entire story. And we should make it easy for us to be able to communicate with that customer from the web, from the CRM directly as well. So as far as communication, as far as inventory is concerned, managing things like drip campaigns and autoresponders and all of that stuff, we've got a really great core CRM that's able to be used. But the beauty is the fact that it is going to take all the information that your customer submits in any traditional lead and actually start building that deal immediately for you. You know, the moment a lead comes in, we need to stop thinking about it as a lead. It's the beginning of a transaction. If they fill out a trade appraisal and a credit application, damn straight you're putting your deal together. You're not recalling a lead and saying, hey, are you interested in the car? They've told you you're interested in the car. They're interested in the car. And it's your job and the sales department's job to work that deal. So we've really got to get out of the notion that a lead is just a lead. It's not a lead. That's a beginning of a transaction, and we need to handle it that way. We think of it as a transaction when they come into the dealership. We take them through our 8-step process, and we think about it as the beginning of a transaction. Well, that needs to happen online as well. And to answer your question from earlier, Jim, this is actually a fully functional CRM and everything on the back end in your very own Space app. The Space app is compatible on everything from iPhone to Android, iPad. You get a full desktop version of the CRM on an iPad, Windows, Mac OS download natively, and then also web-based as well if you just can't make it to a device that you have. We wanted to create a fully functional CRM on a cell phone device that not only gave you the full access to be able to work your deals and do all of your transactions. Your CRM version is not, your mobile version is not CRM Lite. Your mobile version is 100% the fully functional product that you get on a desktop device as well. And I think that's one of our major technological advances that we've created. Is it's not just a separate companion app as they were once marketed as. No, this is a fully functional mobile CRM first, and for that very reason, we give the dealers the ultimate flexibility. It's not just a gadget that goes along with your CRM. You can run your dealership from your cell phone if you so choose.
So a fully functional app.
Nick, you forgot to
absolutely. We need to hear more about that.
Yeah, it's a fully functional app, and I'm showcasing right here. It's in the Apple Store here, and you can see that we have a full function app for Android and iPhone as well. So we noticed, and we won't name any names again because they've already been named. But we noticed very quickly, and I'll stop sharing now. We noticed very quickly that all of the solutions that we found for dealerships, the mobile application did seem to work as a separate piece of software than the desktop one. They'd have a mobile version. A lot of the times, the mobile versions were very poor in features as related to the desktop.
I could see like a BDC operator at home on the weekend being able to operate the website on the app.
Yes. And that's the cool thing, Jim. And you can take my screen share off if you want.
I did.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah, you're up, Nick.
Yeah, we kicked you off.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, you can see that as from a BDC perspective, or any dealership's perspective, a dealership employee's perspective. You be the internet manager or the sales managers or the salespeople themselves. Your website and its marketing efforts shouldn't be separated from your CRM. for example, like they shouldn't have multiple places to log in and do these things. It's the same data fields, it's the same customers, it's the same vehicles, it's the same everything, you know. And our goal is to have one centralized place to be able to have conversations big and small. You know, either we're discussing what specials are on our website or what kind of ads we're placing, or we're speaking one-on-one to Jim, who wants to come in and pay cash for his car and do everything online. You know, no matter what, we shouldn't have all these separate processes and plugins and places to be able to log in. That's why dealers have fatigue for the vendors calling, right? It's like, it's just another thing for me to keep up with. And what we need to figure out in automotive is, how do we reduce those relationships and make it more simple for the dealer just to function, right? Rather than
I think that's where we started, Nick. Reduce the
Yeah.
number of relationships, consolidate the processes. You're paying all these different vendors to do all these different things, that if you could consolidate those processes and have a more efficient result.
And
you
can't
do, and you've got
that.
to be able to consolidate it, because you know what the digital director of a store has become? They've become the platform manager. They've become the IT guy. They've become the person that has to tie all of that shit together. And realistically, they have no time to actually focus on dealership goals and how can we align marketing goals or any digital goals to that. They have no time to focus on the experience.
Nick, I go in dealerships all the time, and what I see is a row of sales managers, 1, 2, 3, 12, I don't know. I see the sales managers, and they've got 3 screens, and they're on all 3 screens at once, because they got 3 different vendors on each of the 3 screens. And they're trying to do all these different processes, and they haven't got any time to watch their business. They don't know what their sales force is doing. They're not communicating with their business development center, because they're trying to manage all these different applications that, and some of them are from the same mothership vendor.
Yeah.
Am I making good sense?
You're making great sense. And Jim, it's just messy, and there's no connectivity of that data, and it honestly wastes the time of people who get paid a lot of money to work car deals.
Yep.
They should believe you, because you're a British spokesperson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look, if any dealer doesn't think that they're sitting there not wasting money, or any business for that matter doesn't think that there's money wasted in inefficiencies, you know, if you think you're doing everything perfect, then, you know, more power to you. But I guarantee there is time wasted by your highest paid employees trying to keep up with all of this.
And
Don't have to now. We have one system.
When a lead comes in, whether you want to call it a lead or an opportunity or whatever you want to call it, when an opportunity shows up, that opportunity has to be responded to immediately.
Correct.
I mean, 8 minutes and you've lost that customer. And once again, you've got Taylor Bartholomew here in the background, shortcutting those processes where it gives you a frictionless process. Taylor?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't want to take all of the credit or even most of the credit here. I've got some amazing developers who come to us from Amazon, and they're geniuses, and they've figured out so many amazing, cool things. They've innovated within the products that we're building, and you know,
you've hired some
we hired some superstars
programmers from Amazon. Okay, I was wondering where we, you know, because you don't personally look smart enough to do all this.
No, I'm the designer. I basically draw circles and rectangles all day. So, but I will say, it's like, you know, imagine someone reaches out via like a vehicle inquiry lead, right? And that lead automatically gets signed to someone on your sales force. That person gets an immediate ping on their cell phone notification. Hey, you know, Jim Ziegler reached out about this. I don't want to guess what kind of cars you like, but you know,
expensive ones, I'm sure.
Expensive ones. You know, Jim Ziegler wants to pay cash for this.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a dealer and you're watching this on the original broadcast or the replay, there's Nick's office number. You can email to nick@spaceauto, not .com, space.auto. Or, you can call Nick. And what city are you in, Nick?
Right now, I'm sitting in Longview, Texas. We spend a lot of time. We're headquartered out of Dallas.
Okay, so you're headquartered in Dallas, so you're basically on Central Time. So if you call Nick reasonably on Central Time, and you can arrange a demo, and if you want a detailed demo or a demo on any part of the process, space.auto will give you a pretty good idea of everything that they offer, everything they do. And my God, they've got Brian Barlow.
Well, and Jim, and I would even say we don't even have to do a demo right now. If they just want to email us their website and let us just take a look at their website, I mean, we can give them the keys to what we're going to do and how we're going to transition not only the way that their customers articulate on their website and how we communicate with them, but the entire platform. Even if they don't go with the entire platform, we have individual assets that can really enhance what the dealer needs in regards to being more effective and more efficient.
You can enhance what they're already buying if they're particularly in love with the vendor, but you can still enhance, and there's processes that will enhance what they're doing. Now Brian Barlow is an extremely bright individual. I don't want to denigrate him in any way. I met Brian about 10 years ago. He was spinning a sign in front of a mattress store.
No, shut, Jim. I was not. Was I fully clothed?
He was spinning a sign to sell in front of a mattress.
Sell.
Was that at Burning Man?
That might have been. Yeah. Oh, goodness. No. That wasn't me. No, but listen, Jim, at the end of the day, we are looking for 25 dealers right now. Sure, we'll take 100, but we're not set up for 100 right now. We're looking for 25
myself
dealers.
Up. Hang on a second.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Dealers. Okay.
That's all right. You're at 25 dealers, $2,500. 25, the first 25 dealers, we need that to happen. We are looking for people that are looking for innovation, that are looking for creativity, that are looking for effectiveness and efficiency. That's what we're going after. This is perfect for independent dealers, for dealers looking for a new CRM, dealers looking
that's the cool thing. You're soliciting independent dealers.
We are. I mean, we're not, it doesn't have to be independent, but independent dealers, we know they need communication, organization, software, systems. We know they need that. Dealers looking for a new CRM, dealers looking for new innovation that creates better, more efficient culture, dealers looking for lightning fast websites, dealers looking for SEO and content, not the old SEO, the new school, the new cool school.
Spin that sign.
Right. Yeah. Right. So that's what we're looking for. Hey, and this is the digital director in your pocket. Loop is literally a digital director in your back pocket if you need it at all times. And don't forget, Jim, Loop while you poop. That's
God, you did.
God.
I really don't want that on the stick.
Loop while you poop.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
That's Barlow's independent advertisement. I don't know if that's on the billboard.
You need to put that on the front page of your website, Nick. Space.auto, loop while you poop. Okay.
What Nick doesn't tell you is he has that ingrained on his key focal point living room wall where his fireplace.
He's got a tattoo that says that.
Yeah.
No, it's across the chest.
With an arrow. No, just kidding. All right. So.
Okay. This has been one interesting broadcast.
It always is, Jim. It always is.
Always is.
Been a lot of fun. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we wind down the last couple minutes, space.auto, AUTO, not .com, not .net, any of that, space.auto. And you can call Nick Askew. The ticker's on the bottom of the screen, 214-382-2270. He's on Central Time. Be courteous. Disregard poop while you
no, it's while you poop.
Okay. God.
Number one marketing asset to Luke. So come on.
I try to, we're humor. I try to do a certain modicum of dignity on these broadcasts.
It's all out the window with Barlow's presence.
Hey, we just
I guarantee someone's going to call Nick, and that's the one thing they're going to take from this whole broadcast, though.
Okay, if you didn't get anything else from this broadcast, You want to run your dealership in the men's room, the ladies' room, you can loop while you poop.
That's it. It's
My
done.
work here is done. My work here is
Skype
done.
while you wipe. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. I like
No,
you, Jim.
Boy, won't I be recording that from this broadcast.
oh, God.
Jim Ziegler himself.
What can I say? Okay, wave goodbye to the audience, guys. We
Hey,
gotta
thank
get
you.
out of
Thank
here.
you so
Thank
much
you.
Jim, for your time and your service to the